Hi Capricorn, welcome back to my channel, Karma Fox. I am doing your weekly reading. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to take a quick second to remind you that this is a general reading. It may not resonate with every single Capricorn out there. So guys, just take what resonates for you and leave the rest for someone else. Keep in mind the energies can reverse. So if it's resonating, Capricorn, even if you're on the other side and it's resonating, just get in where you fit in. But as always, don't force yourself into a reading that's just obviously not for you. Spirit, can I have the energy of the sign of Capricorn? Capricorn. All right, Capricorn, you are starting out with the Three of Cups reversed. You have the Nine of Wands and you have the Page of Swords reversed. So I feel like you're feeling kind of tired, worn down. You're probably not getting out enough. There's a sense of, feeling overwhelmed and unhappy, isolating a little bit. It doesn't look like you're dating or going out with friends and family, but you're dealing with a lot of problems. And there's this energy of, I don't know when this is ever going to end. I've just got all this stuff piling up on me. And I feel like you're kind of keeping to yourself, staying inside, staying in, dealing with life's problems here. So let me see who's in your energy. Show me who is in Capricorn's energy. All right, the person in your energy has the Ace of Wands, the Queen of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy, and the World in reverse. So this is somebody you may not even be talking with currently, but I feel like this person wants to talk to you. I do feel like they want a passionate new beginning with you. They feel like there's unfinished business between you and them. I also feel like this person, though, is like they're looking more at from their perspective. They do want to talk to you, but I don't see them actually taking any steps to do so. It almost appears that they're, involved in other things. Their attention is elsewhere. But I feel like that's a little bit deceptive because ultimately they do want to talk to you. Let me see, show me the energy between Capricorn and this person. Page of Cups. You could have a child together, or this could be a renewal, a new beginning, possibly even an apology of some sort. We'll clarify it to see. Let me see what's affecting this connection. There's definitely emotion here. There's true emotion. Oh, the sun. And I love the sun in this deck, Capricorn. Yeah, I love the sun in this deck. There's a sense of warmth that is here. There's a sense of, happiness that is here. So it could be associated with a child, or it could be associated with some sort of small communication. Because I feel like it's going to kind of help clear up this fog that you've been in. So let me see your outcome. Show me the outcome. Yeah, the Three of Swords in the reverse. That's healing energy. Healing a heartbreak. So that's positive. And the return of happiness. So bottom of the deck is the Magician in the reverse. This is underlying energy. You could be dealing with a Gemini. I also see Leo energy here. But with the Magician in the reverse, something didn't really turn out the way you thought it was going to. Now, you could also be feeling like perhaps this person is being a little bit manipulative as well. We'll see as we go through the reading. So let's clarify. Spirit, why is the Three of Cups in reverse for Capricorn? Okay, so you have the Page of Pentacles reversed and you have the Lovers. All right, you might be dealing with a soulmate. I do feel like you have other people in your energy. Yeah, you may have a choice between this person and somebody new. And you may be trying to decide which is most advantageous for you, or which person, is the person that you love. So some of you have a choice between two people. Others of you, I do feel like, you know, you're not really talking with this person, but you may feel that they are a soulmate. Let me see the Nine of Wands. Why is the Nine of Wands here for Capricorn? The Devil reversed and the Four of Pentacles reversed. Yeah, so the Nine of Wands is the wounded warrior. And I feel like there was something toxic that was here that is being released. It's almost like you're saying to me, I do have feelings for this person. For some of you, you share a child. However, I've had to let this person go in order to survive myself because I can no longer deal with the toxic energy that's here. It looks like some of you have been working on yourself, particularly if you have any type of addictions or, you know, toxic energy. You've been working on yourself. And it's like you're saying, this is a deep loss for me. It's heartbreaking, but I cannot, you know, continue to have this person in my life and still feel happy. So I do feel like you've reached a turning point in your life here, Capricorn. Let me see Page of Swords reversed. I feel like this person kind of, you let your guard down with this person and that caused an issue. Because I see a Capricorn that let themselves become vulnerable with this person and now you're like, yeah, I should not have done that. All right, so we have the Six of Pentacles and we have the Sun. Yeah, you're trying to get your balance back. So you don't know how you're going to do it, but you are determined to do it. And I do feel like you're going to because you have the Sun and the Sun is in the center of your reading. So there's a sense here of trying to bring back balance. I do feel like you're not really talking to this person. You don't really want to talk about something with them. It could have to do with somebody else that's in your energy, possibly a new person. But I do feel like you're trying to bring that balance back in your life because you do want to be happy. And right now you're just tired. You're tired. You're exhausted. So let me see their energy. Why is the Ace of Wands here? Why is the Ace of Wands here for the person in Capricorn's energy? Queen of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and the Knight of Pentacles reversed. Okay, so I do feel like this is a very attractive person, Capricorn, and they have not moved on. I do feel like this person is attractive. They're vivacious. They're charismatic. I also feel like they definitely do want to have a renewal of this connection. Now, I will be honest with you. I'm not seeing a lot of emotion here. What I'm seeing is more or less the passion. So I'm wondering if this is a friends with benefit type of situation. And this person is being very honest about that. I can tell you right now that they have not moved on. If that is the situation, they may have developed feelings for you. Yeah, and that's why they can't move on. Why is the Queen of Swords here? For the person in Capricorn's energy. King of Pentacles, the Star card, and the Page of Wands. This person could be involved in another connection. They could be married or in another connection. But what I'm really getting here is that this person, I feel like this person, I feel like they have these strong, I wouldn't even call them boundaries. I would call them barriers. There's a sense here of this person they work a lot. They are very much geared towards their financial success. They're grounded, but grounded in financial success. You could be dealing with a Aquarius, a Taurus, a Virgo, or another Capricorn. But I feel like this person is also saying that Capricorn, you may have brought somebody else into this. But I'm not seeing that in your energy necessarily. You could have had a choice. That's possible, yeah. I guess it's possible, but they're saying, that's so weird. They're saying, I know what you did last summer, which is weird, okay? But, because isn't that a movie and it's like a horror flick? I don't watch those things. But what this person is saying is, yeah, I know you brought somebody new into this situation. So I have to put up, you know, my sword with you. I am trying to balance out my emotions. I want to be happy too. But yet I'm looking at somebody who is not really, their emotions aren't really tied to this. And in fact, it looks almost like this is a friends with benefit that may have resulted in a pregnancy or a child. There's something to do with a child involved in this for some of you, not everybody, of course. I will say that this person has the ability to come through as a King of Pentacles, but they most often show up as a Page. Yeah, and they're trying to balance out their energy here. So they are hopeful that there can be communication between the two of you, and it will bring in some stability here. If you do share a child, they want to discuss financial arrangements. Why is the World in reverse? There's definitely unfinished business according to their energy. 7 of Swords and the Hangman in reverse. Yeah, so this person is saying, no, I caught you doing something. Something here was revealed. It took a long time, but something got revealed, and it was lying, cheating, stealing. Now, that could have been on your side or it could have been on their side. Regardless, neither of you really want to deal with that toxic element of this. And I do feel like this person has made decisions based upon whatever this 7 of Swords energy is. Because now they're looking at things differently. They're looking at things differently. I feel like there's unfinished business between the two of you, but there was something that occurred that was deceptive within this connection, either on their side or on yours, and either because there's a child involved or because this person has developed feelings. There is definitely unfinished business here. And this person wants the truth. They want to know everything. They feel like they don't know everything. And I feel like you don't want to talk to them about it. But you may wind up having to. There's something to do with a new person with third-party energy. And they're asking, they want to know. And they're accusing you of doing wrong. And you're basically coming back in and saying, well, it's really none of your business. But if you have to know, here it is. Let's look at the energy between Capricorn and this person. Why is this Page of Cups here? All right, we have the 10 of Swords reversed. We have the Wheel of Fortune reversed. All right, so again, for some of you, this is a child that Capricorn, you definitely do love, and you could be fearful of losing contact with. I do feel that with the 10 of Swords reversed here, you're willing to repair things. You're willing to repair things with this person, possibly because of a child. But for others of you, I do feel that this person, they have feelings for you that they didn't realize. They didn't realize they had these feelings. This may have started in a more sexual connotation. Regardless, this person in your energy, I do feel like they have not moved on. The energy is stuck, but there's also this energy, Capricorn, of them accusing you of having someone else in your energy, and they can't let it go. They just absolutely can't release that and let that go. So this is what they're going to be asking you about. Why is the Sun here? Eight of Cups reversed and Justice in reverse. Yeah, for some of you, there's legal implications, especially if there is a child involved. So this person in your energy feels like they were treated wrong, and that you are the reason for that. That's why they've had to put up their guard. That's why they've had to, you know, they've had to balance out their energy. They want to be happy, but they're saying, I can't be happy until I get justice for what Capricorn did to me. And for some of you, it has to do with a child. For others of you, it has to do with somebody new that they believe that you have been involved with. Now, in your energy, I do feel that, I feel like you never fully walked away from this person, but you felt like you couldn't, you had to let go of this. You had to let go of something that was toxic here. And I do see somebody that daydreams about a return, either of this person or possibly another person, maybe a third party, I don't know. But I'm seeing the energy of somebody who is daydreaming about a return. Yeah, because that person was a great loss. It burdened you. It made you feel heavy. Yeah. But you never fully walked away from this person. And that would make sense, especially if there is a child involved or if there is some kind of legal implications here. Let me look at the outcome. I mean, both of you really ultimately just want to be happy. And at some point you were happy together, and then all of this happened. There's betrayal. There's, you know, deception. There's a feeling of being overwhelmed and overburdened. So it just, you know, let's look at your outcome. Because I do see healing, and that's good. Show me the outcome for Capricorn. All right, we have the Queen of Cups reversed. We have the Ten of Cups reversed, and we have the Five of Wands reversed. So there is going to be healing. Whatever the conflict is between the two of you is going to end, and that is a positive thing. I do feel like for you, I feel like you're kind of taking your emotions out of it. You've realized that in order to be happy, you have to remove your feelings and your emotions. You want clarity, you want balance, but you're taking the feelings and the emotions out of it in order to resolve the conflict. I feel like you are not like absolutely in love with this person, but I don't know that they're not in love with you, okay? I do think that they have feelings for you. Now, they're also going to be willing to resolve this conflict, but they're unhappy. They're saying, you know, I do feel better about things, but this is less than the complete emotional fulfillment that I wanted. And that's because you, Capricorn, were deceptive to me. And now I have to look at things differently. I see the light. I see what took place. And especially if there's a child involved, they're saying, we now will have this connection for the rest of our lives, but, you know, this could have gone in a much better way, and I will never have the emotional contentment that I could have had. But let's resolve the problem so that we can both heal. So I do feel that this person is not going to be as happy with the outcome as you would want them to be. I feel like you're going to be happier because you've emotionally detached. This person has not. This person has not. And that's why they're emotionally unhappy. So, yeah, but there's still going to be some healing. There's still going to be this resolution of conflict, which is good, especially if it has to do with a child or children, or if there's court involvement. Now, the bottom of the deck is the Fool card in the reverse. So there's some sort of a new beginning that has not yet manifested for you that is in your near future. It's unrealized energy. So it's trying to manifest right now as we speak, and you know, it's a future event where you're going to have this new beginning. You're going to take a risk. So that's always good. I'm going to pull an oracle card. I'm using the Heal Yourself reading cards. Let me see what kind of advice we have for you. All right, you have number 23, so you're definitely going through some changes, and your card is patience. Okay, so let's read that. Give me 1 second. All right. It says you must develop patience in all areas of your life. Patience does not mean that you give up and do nothing. On the contrary, you need to be aware of several aspects of the circumstance that you are facing. Patience requires you to stop pushing, rushing, and creating potentially explosive situations. Instead, it asks you to see the bigger picture and become aware of the ingredients that might be missing. If you are impatient with a particular person, instead, give them space. Avoid jumping to conclusions and making up dramatic stories about a person or a situation without being aware of all the details. You have an opportunity to let go of judgment. Always look for the truth of the situation, not what someone is saying or doing, but why. Patience can also be connected to a health condition you are recovering from, a new diet or an exercise program that you have embarked on, or a new course of study that you may have begun. All right, so you're being asked to have patience in this situation. There's definitely changes that are coming. I do feel like the resolution of this conflict is coming, and I do see something new on the horizon for you. So I hope this has been helpful, Capricorn. If you have resonated with this reading, hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Hype the video if you get the opportunity. And until I see you in your next reading, Capricorn, know that you are loved, and namaste.